Dummy Swish Pod, the boys are back. How are you,
Yes,
Chris?
sir. Yes, sir. Good as pretty relaxed. I don't know so much about you, but yeah, it's all good this side.
I'm here to preface this whole podcast by don't expect unbiased commentary today. Don't expect I'm fully in Lions form. There was a robbery this weekend, and
Okay,
I'm here
all
to
right.
report the robbery. I'm here to report the robbery. The Dan Carters of podcasting.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
here. We here.
Okay, I know we always say it's not a refereeing podcast, but personally,
Yeah,
once we dive deeper into the game, there were a few things where
yeah,
I do feel like they
yeah.
they they need to be pointed out. Jadazweni,
Mm-hmm.
I think he likes the sound of his own voice, to be honest. I I,
Yeah.
I think he likes being the man in the middle, standing tall
Suspect
there, blowing the whistle.
officiating.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, the screen, that's number one. Then the penalty on the ground, that got the Bulls edged them
Yeah.
ahead. I, for me, that guy was isolated. You know,
But
uh,
I mean, even if okay, let's say interpretation, he gets that right. He got scrum calls wrong.
yeah,
The
there's a
Lions
lot.
were clearly dominant at scrum time. There, even to be unbiased somewhat, the try that Creel spilled over the try line there, where Nodia picked it up and just scored. That was
Mhm.
advantage for the Bulls because the Lions knocked it
Yeah,
on, and
yeah,
you could hear him over the comms saying sorry.
yeah. You
So
see.
yeah, I don't know. I think that going over the ball, he got horned for it earlier in the game, and I think that foreshadowed the decision he would make later. But I mean, like I said, the scrums, I think there was about 10 phases after the one line out that came from the Bulls winning a scrum penalty, and I think it was the Eka van der Merwe try. So
Mm,
it just
mm.
it put a bit of a sour taste on the game. Although I'm done complaining about the ref, I think it was a good game. It was a
It
great
was a
game,
very good game.
whether the Lions won or not.
A very good game. The Lions should not have lost that game. As expected, I thought they were going to be up for it, having taken learnings from last week. And we
Yeah,
saw that, and the way that they started. And man, if there's anybody that's kicking down doors and just saying, yo, you're not, it's that guy, it's that guy. And it shows you what the talent that's there, and what happens with regular game time, the confidence as well,
and it shows you what
for
happens when he moves back to 10,
to
because
turn.
he moved back to 10. All of a sudden, we're cooking
Yeah,
again.
yeah, so it's clear that for the Lions, him at 10 works very well for them. I think they'll be disappointed in leaving some points out there, because I
Yeah,
think they really could have made it very difficult for the Bulls, especially the start that the Lions had. That's exactly what you asked for at Loftus, and they, especially in those first 10, 15 minutes, then they just let the Bulls back in, good tries, very, very well worked tries. These guys are on song, it's just that little bit extra, and those rub of the green decisions that are not
yeah.
that you got to try get out of the game. And the only way by doing that is by taking all the chances that you get, And I think that's where maybe for them, they'll be,
Yeah.
thinking about it like that, from a
That's
Lions
that's
perspective.
that's the only criticism I have of Nohamba, is that his goal kicking has dipped a bit. In terms of his in-play kicking has been great, but
Yeah,
what's the use of getting a 50-22 when you can't win your own lineouts? That was another
yeah.
thing where I felt like PJ Buerta was dearly missed, and I never thought I'd say that in my life. I really never thought I'd say that in my life. But yeah, Fasaki is a penalty machine, and then the hooker that came on is not ready for this level of rugby. So
Yeah,
I think that's definitely a weakness that the Lions have when you talk about set piece. They've got the tall timber there, the line out technicians like Darian
yeah.
Landsberg,
Mm.
so it's but what's the use if you can't find your jumper?
Yeah, And that's what and that's exactly it. Not taking those opportunities when they're there because they could have really put the screw in, into the Bulls. And they were there for the taking. That's all I'm gonna say is that they were there for the taking, man. They were there for the taking, and they just let them back in. And of course, the Bulls are always being the Bulls and at home.
Yeah.
They were gonna show something. But geez, man, yo, for the Lions, honestly, you just think to yourself, how the hell did we not win that one? You know,
Yeah.
but with saying that, you can easily be, like you pointed out, the set piece not working when you needed it to, you know, that's when it didn't happen. And I think,
How can you
just
can find your center in midfield from a lineout. You can find your center, but you can't find your two jumper. That's my problem.
yeah, you
Although,
see,
yeah, but
but
talking
your
about
credit was
other
credit
parts
the
of the set
Bulls.
piece, yeah, credit the Bulls. I will say credit the Bulls. Other part of the set piece in Klabakanya was punishing Matanzima. Matanzima, I'm a big fan. I would like to see him
Same,
get more
same.
starts, but unfortunately, that guy is going to be having nightmares all week about that guy. It was clear to see.
Yeah, but again, and I'm defending him here. Again, Ntlabakanye
Ah,
gets minutes. Look, Ntlabakanye gets minutes. He gets minutes. So if we're talking in terms of just that match XP right now
yeah.
within this season, he's got more match XP than Matanzima. So obviously, the heavy saliva he's gonna struggle a bit.
I mean,
I'd,
I would love to have Matanzima, cross the Yakske. I'd love to have him cross myself. So I'm not
I'm
speaking down on
defending
the
him.
player, but he was
Yeah,
clearly
yeah,
clearly
yeah. But he
outmatched, clearly
was, yeah,
outmatched.
no, he struggled. But then that's credit again to Asanat in Tlabaganye because, he's just grown leaps and bounds. He's looking more and more comfortable at this level. And a serious scrummager as well. And if he gets around the park, so it's for him and for the Lions. They've got something good there. It's just. Yeah, no, Matanzima right now is just, you
Yeah,
know,
but to be fair, and Clavacanya is showing bulk form. I think him and Neerthing Fushia are really they're pushing in terms of if there's any vacancies there at the
there's a
box.
conveyor belt in South Africa,
Yeah,
man. That's why,
another
that's why,
guy.
man, they just can't stand it, man. It's just a conveyor belt down here, man.
Another guy pushing to join that Bok team, Papier. He's been very lively around the
Yeah,
rucks there. He's
yeah.
got some dancing feet. He keeps guys honest there around the ruck, and I think he was man of the match even.
Yeah, but I think right now, a lot of the guys that were previously were close enough to the box side, they've been showing some good signs,
Yeah,
and it is just, Papier has just also found himself in that zone, and consistently now that's his level, you know. And I think the only thing for him is that can he just keep it going? That's always the question, because
yeah,
that's what got him there in the first place, and that's what also got him out is the fact that he couldn't keep it going and lift it, So it's good to see that he is, very influential, moving around the fringes, and that pace coming at 9, it's a big threat, a big weapon that the Bulls have, in terms of uh, quickly just going off from static
yeah,
ball to being on the front foot, and he's key to that, Papier, So and and he gets backed up, by the rest of his team, by the pack. There's always guys there with him because they know that
yeah.
that's how he plays, and that's what you see even guys within that loose trio of the Bulls, where they putting in
Yeah,
shifts,
those are
as
some
well.
big ball carriers. Again, like you say, credit to the Bulls in terms of in the first half they didn't play well at all, but they were still in a good position because they were able to win the penalties. They were able to stay more disciplined than the Lions were. And those carries, once those waves of attack start, once Low
Yeah,
starts picking up the ball, and then you get the ball to first receiver. It's either Huerson or it's a double pivot with Willie Leroux. Willie Leroux will find space all over the field.
Yeah, yeah, and they've got strike runners, you know, deadly strike runners. Although the Lions did well on defense as well to sort
Yeah.
of shut that out
Yeah,
sometimes. But
that's the
then
thing. The
that,
Lions, they great defense. It's just no matter how good your defense is, that kind of attack you can't you
yeah,
can't defend against it.
the speed of that ball that the Bulls are getting, you know, the effectiveness of their cleans. I think that was what was most impressive for me is how they were able to generate that quick ball and put that pressure on the Lions, you know, and that's how they got themselves back into that game, you know, and it's credit to a number of those players with Papier
Yeah.
from the base starting that, you know, and the guys just backing him up, and at the end they get the result, and that's what championship teams do. You know, they can come from being 10 points down and win a game, you know. So yeah, for them, they're looking good.
Again, for them, even though their scrum wasn't working, the lineouts, the kicking game, they've got the minerals that will keep them there and thereabouts in the game.
Yeah,
They the territory. It's what's really impressive for me is the territory and the areas that they play, so that even when they're not firing on all cylinders, they're still there and thereabouts.
yeah, and that
But
ability to also convert those, I think
yeah,
that was the difference actually, you know, with between them and the Lions is that when they needed to convert, they did, you know, and the Lions when they needed to, they couldn't, you
yeah.
know. So for them, it's still growing. You still say it's still growing. They'll take a lot from it, but tough again to take a lot to learn from a game where, honestly, in my view, they had it, man. You know, but yeah, alas, alas.
Yeah, other things in this game, like you mentioned, Nohamba drop goal. Those
Oh, QB
those
in the pocket, QB
yeah.
in the pocket.
QB1, QB1.
QB1, no, that's QB in the pocket right there, you know.
You know, it's things like that and the intercept. Those are now moments that get you a call up. Those are moments that get you a call up, and those are also moments that we don't see when he plays scrum off. That's why
Yeah,
I'm fully committed, and I'm fully. At first, it was a novelty that he's playing
yeah,
10. It's gonna be fun to see, but then he showed us he's a serious guy. He showed us
yeah,
he's a serious guy. So when you see these kinds of things, it's not one game. It's not two games. It's a run
yes,
of performances at 10 that's been so impressive.
yeah, yeah. No, they're valid quotes because he's doing the business, you know, and it's almost you thinking, you know, why not? And especially, you know, if you're talking call-ups, you know, especially from a perspective of if you look at the rumor mill, you know, that Tony Brown, you know, the type of attacking mind that he is, you know, why not have a look at different types of weapons? You know, I mean, that's the arsenal that you have, you know, and I can see Nohamba fitting in. I don't think he would struggle there. You know, I don't think he'd be. I think he'll slot right in at that level. You know, he was close enough before.
So do I. There's players that are doing a lot less that people are
Mm,
raving about to get a ball call up. Personally, in terms of defense, there's a lot of things that people will say about his defense because he's a small character, but he was they tried to pin him under the high ball, but he did well enough, and you can
yeah.
see that they're moving him around and they're putting him in spaces to where he's not exposed.
Mm, mm. And where he can be a threat, you know, on the other side
Yeah,
of
that
it, you
that
know,
kick return, that
because
that for the first try, it just shows you.
exactly,
It just shows you
exactly.
if you're gonna kick to me and try and put the pressure on me, I'm gonna
Mm.
put the pressure on you.
Yeah, and it can either be with boot or with ball in hand, you know, and it's very deadly. Like so, that's why I say I think he'll slot in. I think he'll slot in. You know, so far, you know, he's just. I think it's worth a look in, man. You know,
Yeah, you guys,
let's see, let's see.
you guys, you talking about Ngome Zulus and
Ah,
Feinberg and
yeah,
Ngome
yeah.
Zulus
No,
and things
because
of the
the
like.
impact, man, the
There's no
impact.
impact like this. There's no impact like
Yeah,
Nohamba's having at 10. I know you want
yeah.
him to be that kind of a player, but here's the kind of
But
player you want.
Yeah, this is the guy that's bringing that impact, you know. So yeah, hey, when is June, man? when, when is June, man? But still a
Yeah,
long way to go, and we just hope for him that he can keep it up, keep going. Even Papier, you know, I think it'll be good to see,
yeah,
you know, because all of a sudden now there's no guarantees for guys like Jaden Hendricks, even Grant Williams, the Sharks, because right now they're the ones that are not, you know, okay, maybe
they're
from
playing
play
well
wise,
enough. They're just playing in
yeah,
a team that's
yeah, you know, but you know that can affect that can affect you know, there are guys, but I'm just saying, like in terms of, you know, that from a national point of view,
yeah,
it's, you know, good stocks, you know, good stocks, good guys to have, and you just want them to keep it going, and especially with the amount of rugby that's to come, you know, and the various competitions, you know, so this can only be the beginning for them, you know, and that's what we'd hope for, that they can continue on. I think for me that's the big thing. You know, it don't help in round robin phase. You know, let's when it matters in knockouts, let's
yeah.
see it again and more of it.
Other guys with good performances. I think Chituka,
Yeah,
he was the real man of the match for me.
yeah,
It
he
was
was
either
big,
him
that
or
guy.
Nohamba, but you know they always give
Yeah,
it
he
to
was
the
big.
team that wins. I think Shark supporters are warming up. There's some that didn't believe. There's some that didn't believe, but I think recent times they're seeing performances that's
Yeah,
they're welcoming him.
look good for the Sharks, you know, but still, I'll still say even with the Lions, why it's like it must be so tough seeing that guy go, you know,
Yeah.
because you
It's a
know,
family decision. There's nothing we can do. We must stay out of family
yeah,
matters.
true.
That's the only thing we
True.
can do.
But I'm just saying that, you know, from a Lions perspective, you know, geez, yes, I know they've got guys there,
And
in defense.
Ruan Ackerman is reportedly coming home.
Yeah, you know, so okay, but Ronald Koeman is not like Chitug,
Yeah,
you
he's
know.
not, but
But I understand. But all I'm saying is that like he's a big time player, you know, and you'd hope that at the Sharks, once he gets there, you know, because I mean his brother's been there and you've seen minimal of him, you
mm,
know. So yeah, hopefully he also doesn't just go there and just, you know, be a picture on the wall.
yep. Other guys, good games. Marius Lowe, he was good.
Yeah, he's been consistent for the Lions. Captain consistent. We'll call him that.
Mm, yeah, I think he's had a good run. Darian Landsberg was good off the bench. Kieran
Yeah,
Horn, again, consistent.
consistent. Kieran Horn, he has been. You know, he's one of those quiet guys that can also, you know, be good enough to,
Mm,
you know, to even crack a nod. You know, if you're looking at different type of composition of players, he's. I think Lions have always produced those guys. That one
yeah.
guy that, you know,
Yeah, in terms of the Bulls, it's just all they lose forwards. All they lose forwards. Those
they
guys
lose
are just
forwards.
they're just machines. They're just
Yeah,
they man for man, machine for machine. It's very difficult to beat those guys.
yeah, yeah. And I think you know, especially Kumete has just found
Yeah.
himself a nice home there with those guys, because I think that even just because I mean he's playing with Box there, you know, all of
And
them
I'll
there,
be the
and
first to admit, I never thought he'd see this kind of game time. I never
yeah,
thought he'd see this kind of
same,
form. I thought that I thought that we'd see this if he moved to like the Lions. I
yeah,
didn't
but
think with the kind of players they have there, but he's broken through in a good way.
yeah, and he's abrasive, he's tough,
Yeah.
he's good, man. But yeah, then you see even Marcel Coetzee when he comes off the
Yeah.
bench there, so it's just like, yeah, hey, they've got
Honeycomb.
those.
They've got machines there.
We've got machines there, you know, loose fours that are just crazy, you know. So and you can see how, you know, they're able to stay in games and get back into games and win games, honestly.
Yeah, and
You know,
Willie
if you've
LaRue's
got that,
also been massive. Willie LaRue's been
it's
massive
been big
in
for
that.
them.
I think he's
It's
been really big with them. I mean, you even
that
forget that there's Moody and Aronson.
yeah, that experience, you know, that experience that he brings, I think, yeah, it's a you can't say what it is, but you can see that it's a big difference that he brings to the Bulls, you know, especially from attack.
Yeah, other things, Krobela back from injury, he had a nice run at the end there. I think Lions hooker was terrible. He came on and he was in the talks for a Bok call up, so I think you could see the
Yeah.
difference there. Um, Hendrickse, he did his best. He had a shot at the end. JC Pretorius as well having a big impact. Another player
Mm,
that's come
mm,
on the scene. Hendrickse, he
yeah.
kept it professional. I didn't know if he was gonna sink it on purpose because he's leaving, but he kept it professional. So I have to commend him there. I have to say, you know what, he really tried to get the job done.
Yeah, he did. He did. And I mean, I think he's probably, you know, you have to feel for the guy in a way in terms of before even the whole him leaving is just that he hasn't been on form. He has been struggling, you know.
Mm.
So, you know, he's been looking better. He's been looking better. So, you know, he tried, man. It was just almost, but just,
And it was a
you know,
good even to Cash. It was a good substitution. He took Low off, and he
yeah.
brought him on with that in mind. So I have to say, no,
Mm.
Cash is he's a thinking man. He's a thinking man, even though I doubt him
Yeah,
sometimes.
man.
Thinking man.
Yeah, man. Even Foster's got to think sometimes. Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything further to
Ah.
discuss. It's Six Nations this weekend. That's why you may see
No,
a
no, I see you
Guinness
got that Guinness out. Ah,
a
look.
Guinness around. But I mean,
Yeah.
for me, local rugby, there's nothing. I watch that
Yeah.
casually, but it's
Yeah.
for me. I wish there was more USC on this weekend.
The same. But it's coming back, you know, we'll get rugby back, you know, the one that we like. Six Nations, let them sort themselves out there, you know, about who conquering Europe and all of that. That's fine. You know, maybe the only thing for me, I just think if the Tony Brown thing is real, you know, and it happens,
Yeah,
I think it's probably been one of the things that's been a long time coming, maybe in South African rugby. Um, it'd be interesting to see that impact that you'll have on the way that we attack, you know, and especially I think it's a masterstroke because if you look at the guys that we've got so many attack-minded players, guys that can
yeah,
attack, and yeah, so hey, look, if it is, I'm excited. That's what I was saying. When is June? You know, but
yeah,
first, let's get our local rugby in.
yeah. Jerry Flannery as well. I think he's a good addition, a hard man, a monster man. But yeah, it's good that they're branching out, getting some good rugby minds in there.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go. It's the way the world's going anyway, you know. But obviously, the head guy will always be the guy from here.
Yeah, and I think that's it from us. That's it
Yeah, I
from
know.
me, Pay and Willems. Eben Betzer.
It's a bit.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening.